Welcome back to another reading and correcting of a with me, Kindar. Hi, the Tiger. Want to listen to these live? It's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. on Twitch. We're doing chapter 3. Once outside the council building, paused and looked. The sky was bright blue without a cloud, and chill in the afternoon. Someone growled again, him he still hadn't had his. Why did you let him get away with that? The point of fighting over a bone when the arrows all how close to harvest. He remembered harvest time being one of those times. Even his father seemed dour out. He'd love going to the farming community, bringing in the vegetables. The child, he'd appropriate food. Shook his head and chased. He wasn't a child anymore. Prey might be prey, but they were more than. Let's just close this case. Get out of here. It was on the other side of the large road from the block to their left, between the hardware store run by a fox, him, large garage by a badger, Barthiol. He knew them, liked him, part of the that ran the town, but he never bothered getting to know. Parents were enemies young when they'd been young, on father and mother. Smarter than I expected. Marlot smacked down, but close to that when I left, but most of them live away from this. The only people who live here are those with businesses. It is the roads, road between. One was Daly's restaurant, and the other another holes like the formula. If you walk down that road, you'll find houses, but everyone else has land around the community. That's what in one of the farming communities. The protectors actually live outside of the town proper. Their posts, so that quick trouble. Town is fellow chickens. They're not from the protectorate families. To make sure none of the other towns preyed on the herbivores. The wolf shrugged. The farms are tended by priests. Called live in that other town. On the drive-in. That's one of the community. Seven around. Thought about. The building was that housed Nahego's clinic was low and gray. The wolf looked at it. The color was faded. Darker patch being ran his car into it. The polecat had been so distracted by pregnant mate driving her here, bothered. The door opened with a. Nahego hadn't wanted for the clinics to ever be inaccessible. Needed help. He'd say often, "Come in." That had led to the occasional vagrant coming. Is that more often than not, Nag? The first room was the waiting area. Wasn't were almost never used. And waiting was when a case of cough had spread through the whole academy, affecting most of the. Otherwise, parents came in, walked directly to the other door. The door led to a hall with examination. At the end, at the back, the freezer. The last time he'd been here, I'd seen him in the first one to the left. A suspect, a tiger, had fought back, claws, leaving. The bear had done such a good job of scarring. Oh, it couldn't even remember which shoulder in anymore. Can I get the slate? Asked, bringing Marlot back to the. The wolf handed it to him, then went back to the hall. Tried to ignore the triggered memories. Ego had been kind to everyone. Brought plenty after catching. The freezer only had 4 drawers. Killings here that one at a time. Council wouldn't let bodies accumulate. Pulled the active one out by hand. Like the freezers in this bodies investigated manual. Drawer was out. Checked it to make sure the cables had been charred. It had happened before. Friend to thaw and rot. Ego deserved better. He took a moment to remember the bear who'd out a cub. Ego had been tall, even for a brown bear, reaching almost height. He'd been strong, able to gently carry the young foaled in his arms when followed for body, nailing, same as he had. The head wound on the back of his head. The wound, but on the back of his head. The peaceful expression on the bear's face didn't take away from this wrongness. Be killed and then not eat wasn't normal. He always thought so. This being someone he'd known, it hit him harder. Diego's death should have served him. Unlike most of the bodies, Diego's had been frozen early. Hopefully, it would be sent to the frozen meat wasn't great, but it would be better than the death not bringing. Felt Trembor was said something. Sorry. What did you say? Lion squeezed his shoulder. You know him? Marlot looked. He was one of the rare males I liked here. Serious was the threat of price hike and the leader Sharphorn. The farming towns here are the only places growing food in large enough quantities. Cities. That's how they get the cities to leave them alone. Let them want to deal with the riot or short. One town tries it, the other takes black. Well, they know that if they don't stick together, the cities will take them apart. If Arleon decided there was a shortage, the other towns would go. Would he really? Oh yeah, that link is used to getting his way no matter what. Okay. But why was he so insistent that it be you investigating? Fellow didn't. Yes, that Benerick, I didn't even bother to under. At least that mail do any part. Marl? Carlos answered. Sorry. Arleon wants me because he wants to control what will happen. That list of suspects he gave on the slate I gave you, looked at it. They're going to be vagrant. Won't be able to show they didn't do it. Paulo turned and leaned back against the drawer. He isn't interested in me finding the killer. Why? What are they hiding? Nothing. It isn't a conspiracy. If I manage to find the killer, that's fine. But what he wants is for the case to be solved quickly. Vagrants don't have money, so one, they can't pay. He ends up in the work camps and it's dealt with. The lions at the back do that. Charge them and do whatever they want. What about the enforcer? He's here to enforce the law. That power-hungry old man isn't above the law. Baneric is Arleon's grandson. Who do you think you're going to listen to? And officers from the city who had some officer of the city who has the appointed authority to give him orders, or his own grandfather? I know Baneric give it for the exams. Even as a cub, he loved using his family's authority to boss people. And opposite? I don't think they care. I don't think they care. So long as the vegetables come and are reasonably priced, they don't want to know what goes on here. I don't know if they could ever be something here so bad. Harpoon would intervene. Trevor looked at me. Not going to let them force us to do this on an innocent. No, of course not. Don't sound sure of yourself. What do you want me to say, Trem? I want to leave. I want out of here so badly I almost don't care who pays the tax. Backs of the in and wrapped his arm around his lover, only to have Marlowe push him away. Don't do that. Someone could see us. Trevor looked at him in disbelief. Have any windows? And the only door led to the hall that was empty. They'd hear the door if anyone came in. The lion. You haven't had anything since breakfast. I don't know. Sorry for yelling. Okay. You've mentioned before you don't excuse. They left the clink in silence. I turned around. For the town, pray. This concludes of. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. Next chapter is going to be posted. Subscribe and hit the bell. Want to read the book or the others in this? They are available on all major If you support me, that's on my Patreon. Get access. I've written. If you want live Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the notes. And with that, I